Good evening and welcome to Money Minutes. My name is Lisa Pallavi Barbara. Today we are going to talk about an interesting concept in relation to your mutual funds. Now, mutual fund managers do buy and sell stocks, which we all know, but how regularly do they trade or transact in the stock market is measured by something called the portfolio turnover ratio. I've got with me Kayezad E Adajani, and he's going to tell us what this ratio means and why it's relevant. Hi, Kayezad. Kayezad, so the portfolio turnover ratio is one metric which matters when it comes to looking at a mutual fund's overall performance. So just tell us very briefly what this ratio is all about.
So basically, this ratio tells you, gives you a sense of the activity of buying and how much buying and how much selling your mutual fund manager does in the past 1 year. So basically, it's not really something that you should look at before, deciding whether you need to buy a mutual fund scheme or not. But it's definitely something that gives you, a picture of what your fund manager is about and, his style, his strategy and all that. So basically, the way it's calculated is you take the least of the purchase and sales for the past 1 year and then divide it by the net assets. The percentage that you get is, gives you a sense of activity that your fund manager has run in the past 1 year. Now, this is something that SEBI has mandated to give out twice in a year. Many fund managers give out every month also in their fact sheets.
Okay, so now tell us something. As a fund manager, we know that investing in equity mutual funds is a long-term, investment for most people. So, shouldn't fund managers also buy and hold? And if they are going to buy and hold stocks, then how relevant is this turnover ratio, or why should we measure it?
Definitely, an excessive turnover ratio is really it's frowned upon by analysts and all. But there is no such thing that says that you have to you cannot churn or you must churn and all of that. It also depends on the portfolio strategy. A lot depends on the fund manager strategy also. Like for instance, if you see fund managers like Naren, who manages a dynamic fund and all, the strategy of the fund itself is such that you will end up churning more than the average. There are fund managers like Chetan Saigal from Templeton, who do not really churn at all. And if you see their average portfolio turnover ratio over the past 4-5 years, it's in single digits. So it also depends on your fund manager strategy, how your fund manager wants to manage that fund, and the objective of the fund itself.
Okay, so it can't be looked at in isolation. But can you give investors an indication of, whether they should look at it for selecting funds and how they can use it for selecting funds?
You can't, as you said, you can't really look at in isolation, but it's just that it gives you a sense of what the fund manager is all about, what the strategy is all about. So for instance, a turnover ratio of about more than 60, 70 or even 100% is tells you something about the fund. It tells you that the fund manager is actively, very, very actively buying and selling scripts. If your turnover ratio is, let's say, about 20% or 30% or even less than that, it seems that your fund manager is really buying and hold. It follows a buy and hold policy of this fund. So you really cannot pinpoint this as a tool to look at before buying or selling a mutual fund. It's an outcome of your strategy. So you can look at it, but you can't really base your decision of buying or selling just on this portfolio turnover ratio. You have to look at the fund pedigree, you have to look at the past performance, pedigree of the fund manager also, amongst other things.
Thank you, Kayezad. So there you have it, portfolio turnover ratio, an important metric to know information about your scheme, but don't base your buying and selling decision purely on this ratio. But you must know it so that you know what kind of fund management style your mutual fund scheme is actually following. That's all from us on this edition of Money Minutes. Do keep watching for more investment ideas and updates. Thank you.